Hi, I'm Jack Shilley and welcome to another video. In today's video I'm going to be showing you how you can grow your own tomatoes even if you're pushed for space. Now the way to do this is by using a grow bag. Grow bags are great because they provide enough nutrients to get the plants off to a really good start, and they often have enough space for them to grow perfectly fine for the entire season. So they're really great, but also super quick and easy to use. They come in the traditional size that you can fit 3 plants in. They now also come in individual sizes as well, so they're perfect. Even if you're really pushed for space and you only have a balcony or a small window ledge or something like that, you can still grow your own tomatoes fantastically well. I'm going to be using a traditional size grow bag that can fit 3 plants in, but the principle is the same for whichever size you're using or whether you're planting them into a container as well of a similar size. So without further ado, let's get started. So this is a grow bag that I've chosen to plant my tomatoes in. It's a Levington brand, so it's got their very popular Tomarite tomato food already in there, so it's really good for getting them going, really good for ensuring they produce a nice amount of crop. And what you need to do is make sure you choose one that's got enough depth. So this one is actually advertised as being a deeper fill. They like to have lots of root space to go down into. If they don't, and you've chosen a very shallow grow bag, it's kind of like the ones you would see at a supermarket that you can get. They're fairly cheap, inexpensive, but they are much shallower. What you'd want to do is you'd want to make sure that you get some plastic pots, cut out the bottom of the plastic pot, sit them on top first, fill that with soil, and then plant the tomato into that. What it will then do is it will root through the pot down into the rest of the grow bag, and that will provide enough depth for them. That's if you've got a particularly shallow one. This is because it is quite deep. I'm not going to actually use that method at all. I'm just going to plant them straight into here. So what you want to do is just, and they normally have lines on here, so I'm just going to cut a hole in here. Just like that, and then I'm going to tuck that flap underneath inside the grow bag like that. Just like that, and then you're ready to plant your tomatoes in here. This is quite dry, so what I'm actually going to do first is give it a really good soak with some water, and then I'm going to plant the tomato plants directly into it and put the cane into place so that they are ready to grow for the rest of the season. Then once you've finished watering the grow bag to make sure it's nice and moist, ready to plant your tomatoes, they can now go straight in. So I've chosen 3 varieties, all of which are going to be about 1.5 metres tall, perhaps a little bit taller, maybe a little bit shorter. All you need to do with the grow bag, once you've cut your holes like this, is to create a planting hole by pushing the soil apart like that. Take your tomato plants. This one is called Fandango. Take it out of the pot, place it into the grow bag at the same depth that it was planted previous, otherwise it could rot, and then backfill around it. Just like that. Make sure you put your plant label back into place, otherwise you won't know which tomato is which. Now, if you're wondering about the varieties of tomato that I've chosen to plant in here, I've chosen 3 different types. You can go for all the same type, or like I've done, change it up a little bit. I'm quite interested to see what they're like. I've chosen some good, well-known varieties and some others that I've not really heard of before, so it'll be interesting to see how they perform. This variety here is called Fandango. It's supposed to be a heavy cropper, but it's also supposed to be relatively disease resistant, so it'll be good to see how that one does. This one in the middle is called Big Boy. Again, reliable cropper, but big, large-sized tomatoes. Again, interested to see how this one's going to grow. I'm not really too familiar with it myself. And then this one on the end here, this is Moneymaker. Now, Moneymaker is a really classic tomato variety. It's reliable, it's heavy cropping, it produces nice sized fruit, and it's very easy going. So all in all, 3 good varieties I think I've chosen, and it'll be interesting to see how they grow and develop over the season. And once you've planted them, like they have here, give them a really good soak with the hose, and then you're ready to move on to putting the cane into place so that you can support them later in the season. Using canes with tomatoes, particularly when they're in grow bags like this and they don't have a huge amount of depth, is hugely important. So if you can think about the varieties I've chosen, they're all going to be heavy croppers, so lots of fruit hopefully. They're all going to be fairly large sized fruit, so there's a lot of weight there, and they're all going to grow to a decent size, so they're going to need supporting The plants themselves are quite strong, quite tough, but once they've got lots of that fruit, particularly if there's rainfall, they will fall forwards, and if they snap, unfortunately, that's pretty much the end of that tomato plant. So what you need to do with them is you actually need to cane the plants to make sure that you can tie them in and that they're going to be absolutely fine during high winds, rain, lots of fruit, anything like that. These ones here are about the right size. They might be a little bit small, but we can always look at getting bigger ones later in the season. But what you need to do is you need to take the cane with the thickest end going into the soil, place it close to, but not directly by, the stem of the tomato. If you place it directly by the stem, you risk damaging it, and you're probably going to damage the roots if you do that. So push that into place as firmly as you can, like that, and that will then give you the support you need to tie your tomato plant in as it starts to grow, which is going to be essential if you want lots and lots of fruit. So do that for all 3 varieties, like so. And if you did want to give them a bit more support, you could also put a bamboo cane across the top and the middle, which I think I'll probably do. And once you've got your canes in place, that's pretty much it for the rest of the season. All you'll need to do with your tomatoes now is just to tie them into the canes as and when your tomato plants start to grow. As I said, it's super simple. Cut the bag, plant the tomatoes in, put the canes in, job done. Make sure they're kept really well watered during the summer, particularly during dry spells, and also make sure probably 6 to 8 weeks down the line the fertilizer and the nutrients that is in this bag will be pretty much depleted, so you'd want to start feeding them again at that point. Using Tomerite is a really good product, but anything that's a good kind of general vegetable food would be fine to use in this grow bag. What I haven't done is cut holes in the bottom. This helps with watering because the water is kept in the bag, and it also helps to keep your patio or your balcony tidy because you're not going to have loads of soil and water runoff coming out the bottom of the bag. Just be mindful that it can get waterlogged, so don't water them too much if you haven't cut holes in the bottom. That's it for planting tomatoes in grow bags. Super quick, super simple. I hope you've enjoyed this video and it's given you the encouragement to get out and to grow your own tomatoes, because it really is quite easy and you don't have to have a lot of space in which to do it. Thanks very much for watching. As always, if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like and also hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on my future video updates. Thanks very much for watching.